Hi, I'm Sarah Tindall from Martin Ulysses Imports, and I am here today with Chef Doan Shockley and also Robert and Brittney from the Corpus Christi Symphony Orchestra. What are we making today?
Today we're going to make Chicken Saltimboca. And Saltimboca is basically either veal or chicken with prosciutto and sage. And then you cook it in a chicken stock and finish it off with butter, and it's rich and delicious and salty and sagey, and it's heavenly.
I like all of those words.
So that's how it's going to go.
Yes.
Hey, we're going to have it today with the Coda di Volpe.
Coda di Volpe.
Coda di Volpe is a grape that's grown in far down southern Italy in Campania, and Coda di Volpe means the fox's tail, because the clusters of grapes look like the tail of a fox. So they named the grapes after a fox's tail. It's Coda di Volpe. You don't see it very often, but it's a neat wine. It's grown on volcanic slopes, so it's got a nice earthiness to it, like most southern Italian wines do. Almost an ashiness. It's kind of neat. It's got a brininess to it. It's close to the sea, and it picks up a little bit of brine, which will go good with the salt in the prosciutto. But it's got good acidity as well, so that will cut through the fat of the prosciutto and the butter that I'm going to finish the dish off with. So it should be a really nice complement to the dish. And probably a wine you haven't tried before, so hopefully it'll be something new for you that you'll enjoy, and we'll see how it goes.
Now, on the bottle it says Pompeiano. Is this wine literally from Pompeii? So you said by a volcano.
It is from Pompeii. It's grown. The grapes are grown on the slopes of Mount Vesuvius.
That is amazing. So we're literally tasting, when you said a little briny, and you're getting the sea, but we're also getting a little bit of that ashiness. Yeah. All right.
See, it's got a beautiful color to it, though. Nice golden, nice nose. Well, it's very different, but it's good.
It is, and it makes your whole mouth just be like, hey, what just happened?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's fun, isn't it?
I love it. I love it.
Well, neat. All right, well, I'm going to get started on this real quick. So, chicken saltimboca. So, I've got a chicken breast here. And I'm going to do a really easy version. I'm just going to cut the chicken breast in half. I'm going to take a piece of prosciutto. I'm going to cut it in half. Lay it on here. Lay it on here. Put a little sage on top. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in the pan. I'm going to lightly brown the chicken breast on the bottom, and then I'm going to put it in the oven to finish it off, so that the sage and the prosciutto will stay on top. Just a little on bottom to help it get some color and a little bit of texture.
You know it's going to be good when it looks that pretty going into the pan.
And it's so simple. Real Italian food, and the times that I've spent there cooking with Christy's relatives, I realize that in this country we tend to overthink Italian food too much, and we do too much of it. They do simple ingredients that vary together very, very well, and just go with that, and that's all they do. So I'm going to let that brown for just a second. I'm going to add a little bit of mushroom and some chicken stock and throw it in the oven.
And any kind of mushroom, or is there a specific kind that we're looking for here?
Really any kind of mushroom. If you're on a budget, you can use the button mushrooms. If you're not, grab some fun exotic mushrooms and put them in there. Frankly, at the winery when I was there, we went up in the hills and they had a truffle dawn. So we went hunting for truffles in the Apennines. And they had a pocket full of prosciutto. That's what he used to train the dog. I said, oh my gosh, you've got $300 worth of prosciutto in the pocket for feeding it to a dog?
Dog?
No.
But it's worth it to get those truffles.
Right. So for them, but he couldn't imagine what I was talking about. So we had a huge bag of truffles, but that's an everyday food for them, were truffles and the prosciuttos, and everyday meat for them, and fresh chickens and fresh asparagus and fresh spinach and all these just wonderful, totally fresh dishes. It's just amazing to watch the way they do things. So I'm going to pour just a little bit of wine in there. It always helps to put a little wine in it whenever you're cooking. Deglaze. Let that get almost dry.
And when you're cooking, you tell us about how you choose a wine to cook with.
Well, this one's got that brininess to it that will marry very well with the prosciutto. To get that salty thing. So sometimes we look for a bridge where they're similar, or we want to go diverse. A lot of times with spicy food, we want a sweet wine, so it kind of balances each other out. So sometimes you want to meet in the middle, sometimes you want to be out here balancing each other out. And it just kind of depends on, for me, frankly, the mood I'm in. And I'll kind of adjust the dish according to the wine. I'll have a glass of the wine and say, oh, I don't think it's going to go as well as I thought it would, so I'm going to take the dish this way now. But I know this isn't going to go well, so it'll be okay. So I'm going to put a little bit of chicken stock in here, bring it up to a boil, and then I'm just going to stick it in the oven for about 8 to 10 minutes and let it sit there and simmer. And then we'll manja, as the Italians say.
Manja. All right, well, while that is happening, why don't we talk a little bit about what the symphony has coming up in the next few months.
Well, beyond good food, we have something that's good for the soul. We have some great music and great entertainment for people here in the Coastal Bend. We have some concerts coming up. We have in April, we have our concluding concert of the season, which is our Beethoven 9 concert, which is soon to sell out at the Performing Arts Center at Texas A&M. And then the concert that we really are known for in this community, our Pops in the Park, will take place on March the 29th. It's a Saturday at Whataburger Field, and it's going to be a great show with the biggest fireworks display this community will ever see, and the Harbor Bridge lighting, and lots of fun, and it's going to be a great time.
Oh, amazing. I've been to Pops in the Park twice now, and my kids start asking after Christmas when it's going to happen again. It's such an amazing event. And it's family friendly and affordable, I think.
It is.
So.
It's one of the shows that, for a family of 6 or a family of 2 or a family of 1, it's very cost effective. The most expensive ticket price is $10. And a lot of people pay only $5 if they're students, and it doesn't matter if they're a 70-year-old college student, and 12 and under are $5. So for a family, it's a great way to enjoy an evening together that you can spend less money than if you were going to a movie.
Well, I remember that last year's theme was Broadway musicals.
That's correct.
And the first year, was it patriotic?
It was a more patriotic program for the first year.
So what are we to look forward to this year?
Texas. We're doing Deep in the Heart of Texas and celebrating everything that's wonderful and unique about the Lone Star State.
Wow, that is going to be fun. That's a perfect theme for this year. So where do we go if we want tickets to any of your upcoming events?
Well, tickets can be purchased at different places. One is Whataburger Field for general admission tickets. Those are the $10 and the $5 tickets and reserved seating. If they want to purchase VIP tickets, which there's a wonderful party that takes place prior to the concert in the suites, those tickets can be purchased via the CCSO office, which they can call us at area code 361-883-6683.
All right, and what's the date of that again if folks want to come into town for that event?
Saturday, March the 29th. It's a 7:30 concert at Whataburger Field. It's going to be fun. Dress down in shorts. Drink as much as you want to, responsibly, and have a great time.
And be sure to check out our website, ccsymphony.org, if you want to keep up with everything that's going on. Our Pops concerts, our regular concerts, all the fun stuff we have going on year-round.
How long has the symphony been here in Corpus Christi?
68 consecutive years. We pride ourselves as being one of the longest running nonprofit performing arts organizations in this community, and actually sometimes in Texas. And so we've had a wonderful continuous history here in the Coastal Bend, and we're looking forward to making even more of a splash.
Oh, I love it. Now, Chef, what's going on over here? We've got some noise and some green stuff.
So I'm going to just saute down a little bit of spinach to go with it. I've got some extra virgin olive oil in there, just some fresh spinach leaves. I'm going to do a pinch of salt and pepper, a little bit of wine, of course.
And so now this has come out of the oven.
Come out of the oven.
How long was it in there?
It was in there for about 10 minutes. I'm going to let it reduce down just a little bit. Then I'm going to monter au beurre, as you say, which is a fancy word for saying I'm going to put some butter in there. But that'll really richen it up. And then so we'll serve the saltimboca and the spinach. And I think you're going to enjoy it. It's going to go great with this Coda di Volpe. Okay, so I've got the chicken out of the oven. I reduced it down. I added the butter. You can see the sauce thickened up. It's always fun to watch how if you add butter to a sauce, it will actually thicken it up a little bit. If the stock or whatever you're adding the butter to is too hot, or if the butter is too cold, it won't do that. But if you have the temperature combination just right, it will thicken up and it won't break. and you end up with a wonderful little sauce. I'll get a little bit more on here for you. And then I have a little bit of the spinach sauteed with just extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of white wine. Very simply prepared again, just very much the way the Italians do it. Simple preparation, fresh ingredients, put them together. And as the Italians would say, mangia mangia.
Grazie.
Beautiful.
I think you'll like it, and it'll be interesting for you to see because the brininess in the wine and the saltiness in the prosciutto should go together very well. But the acidity is going to kind of cut through the fat of the butter, and it should be a really, really good combination for you. And the Italians make their wines to go with food. So the food will make the wine taste better, and the wine will make the food taste better. And it's a perfect relationship.
Great.
Hope y'all enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much like in the symphony, when things complement each other.
It's true. It is very much like a symphony.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes you can have the bass or something really, really low and a very high flute that you wouldn't think would go good together, but exclusively, but they might. And sometimes you want that bridge to where all the instruments are flowing together. So.
That sauce is delicious.
Ah.
With the
Oh,
mushrooms, so good.
I wouldn't change a thing.
I like the tip about adding the butter to the sauce to thicken it up.
And it richens it up. I always use unsalted butter. My little tip there. So.
Low carb friendly.
Question
Yes.
for you about olive oil. When you go to the store to buy olive oil, they range in such price differences. How important is it to have the real good olive oil versus middle price olive oil versus the low price olive oil?
Depending on what you're using it for. For salads, or if I'm doing just a few simple vegetables or a cheese with some olive oil or bread with olive oil, you want to get an expensive olive oil. And it really is worth the money. You can taste the difference in a really expensive olive oil. Now, if you're just going to be sauteing something that's got prosciutto and mushrooms and chicken stock, you probably don't need to waste your money on a really expensive olive oil for that. You could use just an inexpensive one for this. But there are times, depending on the usage, that it's definitely worth the money. Keep it kind of back in the corner of your cabinet for those special occasions, but you definitely ought to have a bottle of it on hand.
And what's the difference between an extra virgin olive oil that is inexpensive and an extra virgin olive oil that's expensive? Because
the extra virgin olive oil that's expensive is probably really extra virgin olive oil. And the extra virgin olive oil that's not expensive may or may not be pure 100% extra virgin olive oil.
I see.
The labeling restrictions are very loose on olive oil in the United States. So that's why it's fascinating when we go over to visit Chrissy's relatives. They have 55-gallon barrels in their kitchen, but they have their own olive trees. They press their own olive oil. So they have these barrels of their own extra virgin olive oil that's, 6 months old in their kitchens. Then you can just drink it, and they cook with it like we cook with water.
Face on it.
We made a frittata, and her aunt filled the pan probably a third of the way up with this, it'll be $100 bottle of olive oil here to cook the eggs in, and just kind of threw it away. She didn't think twice about it because it was just their way of life. So, anyway.
Absolutely scrumptious.
It is. And the
Okay.
spinach is delicious.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you'll enjoy it.
Thanks for joining us. We've had Robert and Brittney from the Corpus Christi Symphony Orchestra, and of course our lovely and talented chef Doan Shockley. Please go find us on Twitter and on Facebook.